Hello gamers, welcome to Table Talk. Today I'm going to teach how to play Blossoms, a two-player game that's 8 and up and takes approximately 20 minutes. To first set up the game, put the 4 pots in an area where everyone can reach and see them. Put the reference card where everyone can see it. Give each player a set of 3 tokens of a color of their choice. So in this case, I'll take the blue. Shuffle up the deck of cards, deal 1 card to each pot, making sure it is a different flower. If the same flower pops up, put it in a discard pile and keep going until you find a different flower. Then deal 2 cards to each player, and this will be their hand for the game. Then put the deck in reach of all players as well. To start the game, pick a starting player and then they will perform one of many actions. The first action that must be taken is the growth action. The growth action consists of drawing the top card and adding it to the flower that matches. If the flower does not match what is currently on the board, then they bust. They will discard that card and their turn will end. Once they successfully perform the growth action, then they can take the growth action again. Alternatively, you can plant, which is to play a card from your hand and add it to the respective flower. You can cut, which would be to take the set of cards that make up the flower and put it in a scoring pile, making sure that each flower is separate, because when it comes to scoring, the amount of cards that make up the said flower determines how many points that flower is worth. So if you cut 2 of the same flower, you want to make sure they are counted separately. Or they may pass, which means that they are doing nothing. They are choosing not to push their luck. They're not adding any additional cards, and they're going to assume or hope for the other player will bust immediately on their first turn or action. Now, there are these special tokens that each player has 3 of. Those are a special additional action that they may take on their turn, but they may only do it 3 times throughout the entire game. What these tokens do is, as a special action, they may place it on one of the pots. Let's say I put it there. When a player places their token on the pot, that indicates 2 things. 1, they're more or less reserving this set of cards or flower so that the other player may not cut it on their turn. Secondly, they are allowed to take the action of the pot. Each pot has a separate action or bonus depending on which one you do. These bonuses consist of preventing yourself from busting on that turn. So if you place a token here, I can continue to do the growth action until I bust. Once I bust, I can then do another action if I want, because I am not out of the round yet. But if any other circumstances happens, in which case if I didn't have this, then I would end my turn if I busted. The watering can. The watering can will allow me to play a card from my hand and stick it at the bottom of the card or stack of flowers, saying that it is now part of this flower set and it does not have to match. There is the Rake, which will allow you to look at the top 3 cards and rearrange them in any order that I would like. And the last action is the shears, or the pruner. That will allow you to draw the top card and add it to your hand. This is the only way to get more cards into your hand throughout the entire game. The game will play this way until the entire deck is empty. Once the last card is played from the deck, then if it was the starting player's turn who flipped over that card, they will finish their turn and the other player will then be allowed to take a turn without performing the initial growth action. So they can get a free cut without actually busting. Or if the second player in turn order is the person to flip over the card, they will be able to finish their turn and the game will end. This game is equal turns. Alternatively, if the second player does have a token on the last turn, they can choose to play it on the watering can. The watering can will allow both players to take an additional turn even though the deck is empty. Once that happens, then each player will then score what they have cut based on the size of the flower. So take each individual's flower height or amount of cards that make up each flower. Based on that, will determine how many points that flower is worth. So in this case, if the flower is only 2 cards high, it will only be worth 1 point. If you manage to get it 6 cards high, it'll be worth 15 points. Additionally, after those and adding them up, you also score based on variety. So however many different types of flowers you have will give you one additional set of points. Once you add up all the points, whoever has the highest total will win the game. In the back of the book, there is a list of various variants. A longer game, in which case you play 3 games in a row, and the person with the most points after totaling all 3 games is the winner. Playing with children, in which case you would flip over the pots and play without the special powers. A 3-player variant, in which case it's very similar, except each player will get one of each of the special action tiles or tokens. And an advanced variant, where the growth action is still mandatory, but does not necessarily have to be the first action you take. In which case you can start your turn by taking a special action using the tokens before you do the growth. Thank you for watching. That's how you play Blossoms. Please subscribe, like, and leave a comment down below if you want to see another game or what do you think about this one. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.